Welcome to the Vegas Insider channel here on YouTube as we get set for the college football playoff semifinals. Kevin Rogers and Brian Edwards with you, and a pair of games coming up on Friday. First, it's Alabama and Notre Dame in the Rose Bowl, that game being played in Arlington, Texas, and then followed up by Clemson and Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl. The winners of those games will go to the national championship. As we bring in Brian Edwards and start things off, Brian, with the Crimson Tide and the Fighting Irish, they have seen each other before in the college football playoff. Notre Dame doesn't have a great track record in this over the years, and Nick Saban's Crimson Tide team this year has just dominated everyone, so we'll see what Alabama does as a heavy favorite here.
Yeah, I think the best play or my favorite play for this game is Alabama minus 11 in the first half. I think a lot of books have got the first half line up within the last 24 to 48 hours. I've seen all 11s. I think there might have been 11.5. But minus 11 first half for Alabama. They've covered in the first half in 7 straight games. Their only first half non-covers this year were at Ole Miss and versus Georgia at home. 7 straight since then. They jump on teams early and often, and I see nothing being different against the Fighting Irish.
And what are your thoughts on the total of that game, 65.5?
Yeah, I like the over. Alabama has seen the over go 7-4 overall, and really pretty much all of their unders, with maybe the exception of the Mississippi State game, we're going to go over had, they not hit the brakes offensively, just because they had just 4 or 5 touchdown leads. So I think it will go over. I think Ian Book and Notre Dame will get some, maybe even 21 to 28 points. And, Alabama, their last 3 offensive outings, 52, 52, 55. And then they only had 42 against Auburn, but 63 against Bama. I haven't seen any team totals yet, but, I would probably prefer Alabama's team total over in the first half. I don't know what that number is yet, to the over for the game, but I like it the over for the game, and that's the only line we know right now. Now, for money management purposes, I'll have more on Alabama minus 11 in the first half, perhaps twice as much more. But I'll also be on over 65.5.
So the winner of Alabama Notre Dame will face the winner of Clemson and Ohio State in the national championship. But first, the Tigers and Buckeyes hook up in the Sugar Bowl at the Superdome in New Orleans on Friday night. Clemson is 7.5-point favorite. Total of 66, and these teams have played some pretty interesting games in the past, including last year, the Fiesta Bowl. Clemson came back to beat Ohio State, and we'll see what Trevor Lawrence can do here against Justin Fields and see if Ohio State is deserving to be in this game, Brian.
Yeah, I like Clemson here. Now, pretty important to buy that. I mean, I got it at 7. I don't know, seemingly like a week ago, at least 4 or 5 days ago. Pretty important to be able to buy that half point to 7. If this number were to move to 8, 8.5, and that's your only option, maybe pass or just go really small on it. But if Clemson's 7, if you get them at 7, I like them to win by at least a touchdown, but probably double digits. Ohio State, look, Fields had a Zoom media scrum on Monday where, he said he was okay, and I'm not implying he won't be okay, but, I mean, he got banged up a little bit last week or whatever, 10 days ago or so. And, he might not be at 100%. And, look, Ohio State's really only played 2 teams this year. Northwestern, who they just struggled mightily against. If Ramsey doesn't play so piss poor for Northwestern, they might have won that game. And the Indiana game where they won by 7, we're fortunate to get a pick 6. Indiana had multiple chances to tie that game down 7 in the fourth quarter. Didn't get it done on the road. But, everybody else that Ohio State played this year has a losing record. And, they struggled to skate by against the only 2 decent teams they played, and certainly nobody on the level of Clemson and Trevor Lawrence, although Michael Penix is a big-time talent. That Indiana game was before he got injured. But I think Clemson's the play here, and I'm going to roll with the Tigers.
And the two winners will face off in Miami. But before, you're going to have a game at the Orange Bowl this Saturday. It's North Carolina and Texas A&M. A lot of people thought maybe the Aggies should have been in the college football playoff and not Notre Dame. But Jimbo Fisher's team facing off against a North Carolina squad that's going to be down a lot of its big-time players who have opted out of this game. And the Aggies, a touchdown favorite against the Tar Heels.
Yeah, the key to this play to me is North Carolina's absences, kind of like my Gators. They've seen 4 stars opt out. Michael Carter, the running back, who was 4th in the nation in rushing yards with 1,245. He was 9th in yards per carry average, 8.0 yards per carry, 9 rushing touchdowns, 25 catches, 267 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's a ton of production just right there. That's one guy, but they also are going to be without Javonte Williams, their other running back, 1,140 rushing yards, 2nd in the country in rushing touchdowns with 19, a 7.3 yards per carry average. He also catches it out of the backfield from Sam Howell, 25 receptions, 305 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Both of those guys gone. And Diami Brown, their best receiver, 55 receptions, 1,099 yards, and 8 touchdowns. He paced the ACC, was 6th in the nation in receiving yards. And then Chaz Surratt, their best linebacker, leading tackler the last 2 years, 91 tackles, 6 sacks, 6 QB hurries, 3 passes broken up, 1.5 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, 1 interception. He is out. So 4 big-time players for UNC will not be in uniform against the Aggies. Again, another game that's at 7.5. Recommend buying the half point to 7. But I like the Aggies, who have won 7 in a row and have covered a bunch of numbers in that stretch. I think they beat UNC, a shorthanded UNC, by double digits.
So to review Brian's picks for this weekend, Friday in the college football playoff games, Brian likes Alabama in the first half, also the over against Notre Dame, and he'll take the Clemson Tigers. He'll buy the half point, lay the 7 against Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl. And then on Saturday in the Orange Bowl, he will take Texas A&M, lay the 7 against North Carolina. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel here at Vegas Insider. For Brian Edwards, I'm Kevin Rogers, and we appreciate you watching, and best of luck with your bets.